So on to rendering. Before we go into the into Solaris, I want to bring in the head as well. So I'm going to merge the head in with our scattered geometry here. So let's go to after the subdivide. So we've still got the head there. Merge it in here. But the head, you can see, is angry because we got different. We don't have attributes on both pieces of geometry. So I'm going to pack and give the name attributes to the head. Okay, it's running slowly now, so I'm going to escape that and just set this to manual. Okay, and then come up to this name and then call this head, and then I'm going to pack it as well down here. Okay, and then that's ready to go out there. So let's go into our stage context, and I'm going to copy, just copy the whole thing across. And then here we need to grab that phase 2. Okay, visualize that, go to auto update. So since we're working with packed geometry now, we could have done this with packed geometry as well, by the way. If you wanted to get more geometry in there, you could just pack the geometry and it will work fine. But here we need to come to primitive definition, I think, and pack primitives. So that's what we've got. And I found the way to get the materials to work is just from trial and error for myself. There may be another way. Let us know, and if you do find a better way. So I've found that this worked for me, creating setting this to create point instancer. If we go, let's set this to Solaris. And then get rid of all this, don't need that, and get rid of this. I just wanted to get this guy here. Okay, and then you can see we've got this instances thing, prototypes, and then we go down, 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 get into our assemble, and then in the pack, and there's all of our geometry there, so we can reference all of our geometry here, and then the head is just in this pack here. And we can use that for applying materials. And the way to bring in the materials, because all of our materials are on the object level, is if we do a scene import materials. Okay, and that, if I press P, you can see it's bringing in our materials there. And if I merge these together, basically I don't have the option here, so I can bring in objects here, but I can't see the option for creating this point instances. So I'm doing this separately and then merging them together, and that way I have the materials and the and here we got the materials and the geometry together. Okay, so now if I move that out of the way, please, move that up. Just kind of word of warning as well, not a word of warning, but a tip to avoid confusion is that you've got to be rendering in Karma to actually see the materials. So we need a assign materials first. So drop that down. Okay. And let's just, again, you may want to just work on a couple of points here, because it is still running a bit slow. But I'm just going to do it, with the full geometry. Okay, so get rid of that and then just start fresh. That's the same thing anyway. So here we need to put the primitives and here the material. So let's give ourselves space here. Could get rid of this momentarily, or no, we could just fit it in. So we need to go into our instances and find, so we'll start with coral 0. So we drag, so just click and drag that into our primitives, and then stretch that across because it's quite a long path. Okay, and then put a star on the version there because we've got multiples. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, but they have the same material, right? So if we go up to Coral 0, this one, and find the material, that, and drag that under here. Okay, and then, oh, you can see it does apply. I knew that would happen. I say something doesn't work, and then it does work, but never mind. Easier this way, we don't have to render it to see the progress. So that we got some of the corals with materials applied, don't need that. So let's do the other corals. So that was coral 0, let's do coral 1. So drag, click and drag that, star there. Okay, and then grab the materials for those, minimize that, coral pack 1. Drag this gun across. A bit of a tedious way of working this, but it's worth it in the end. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna hide that. No, I didn't want to hide that and open that out again. Let's do the seaweed next. We'll get another one. Seaweed 0. So find seaweed 0. The material for seaweed 0. Open that out. There we go. Okay. And then last one. No, 2 more. We got the starfish and the other seaweed. So what did we just do? Seaweed 0. So we want seaweed 1. So click and drag that into primitives. I always get these mixed up, so careful if you do that as well. Star there, and then seaweed 1 material. In here, there we go, drag that in. There we go. So just keeping an eye on this, making sure that it's updating as we go, as we apply materials, and then double check in the end that we've got, you know, materials everywhere that we should have. That is something looking, I'm sure we've done both seaweeds now. We'll come back to that. Let me just do the starfish. So starfish, the primitives over here, and starfish material. Is there? There we go. Let's just let's go into Karma and see if it looks complete. So this kind of pink is telling me there's a problem with the render, with the material, with the texture, sorry. So you can see there's kind of no diffuse texture on this. This was happening earlier while I was doing testing. So let me just find where it was. Well, I know it's one of the seaweeds, so let's just go back out here onto our obj level, and I will go into the seaweed and just make sure that the textures are, you know, the roots to the textures are correct. Let's dive in here. Let me go hide other objects. Get rid of that. No, don't want that. In the material, in here, textures. So just make sure that everything's fine here. Okay, so I might have done something and changed the roots. So this albedo, so SDDGS albedo. There. It could be that, yeah. So you can see it's looking for the .rat, which has been created by Houdini, but it's not there. It's just this JPEG. So I think we need to do that. Okay, maybe if I just change them all to JPEG, that would work. Unless, you know, there's already one there. What's that? The roughness. I see the roughness is there, so that's fine. And then the this important, so opacity. That one's there. That should be fine. Well, I remember it was looking fine earlier. Bump and normals. See, so the normal, there's only one there. It's looking for this dot rat, but it's not there. So connect up the JPEG. Not sure what's happened there, but hopefully this will solve it. Where am I? I'm lost. Oops. Okay, and let's see, double check with these. Okay, go into your textures and let's see, go here, open this out so we can see. So again, they're looking for these .rat files. So that one's there. Albedo, the roughness, I think it was just the one. There we go, roughness there. Maybe I've deleted them by accident, kind of doing some housekeeping. That one's there. Yeah, I think I must have deleted them by mistake myself. So hopefully you don't have the same problem. What's this? The normal's there as well. Yeah. Okay, so fingers crossed. There we go. That's already looking better. Let's go down to our camera. Great. Okay, I'm not seeing those weird pink colors now. We've got lots of materials. Great. Okay. Get rid of that material library. That's the other one that we made. Yep. Get rid of that. But we do want another one for the actual head. Okay, so let me just pause this. Well, we'll set it back to Karma a minute, to Houdini. Drop another material library, put that above here. Actually, I think you could put it anywhere. Dive inside. Get a principled shader. Call this head. Okay, I'm just going to make this a bit darker. 0.1 for all of these. And a bit rougher. 0.6. Okay. And then come back out and then apply assign material. So I want to assign this to, we go back into that. Oh, we lost the, let's get the scene graph tree and then find our head. There we go. So we can just drag that in there and that should just apply the material automatically for us. There we go. You can see it. Right. There we go. Okay. So go back into Karma. You can see they're not picking up the materials now. It's just kind of buggy still. This whole Solaris thing, but getting better. Okay, so that's kind of hiding that that head material a little bit. Okay, so I want to hide this background that's kind of annoying me. So press D, go into your background, turn that off, just set it to dark. I'm going to hide these lights, go into my camera. Great, turn off the ground plane. Let's see the samples. I'm going to drop this way down. So we got much heavier geometry now. Let's set this to, I don't know, 32. And that's fine. Depth of field, yeah, we'll leave it on. Just leave everything the same as it was before. Let's go into, do we have the, let me just double check. We got the filter, the denoiser, yeah. Great, so let's just render that out and see what we get. I'm just going to stop this because I feel like the depth of field is a bit strong there. So I want to pause the render, make that smaller, go to our camera here, and the f-stop, I believe, if we raise that, blur it a bit less, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just push it to extremes. Yeah, so I'm going to, it was on 1 before, let's try 2. Still want a bit of blur, you know, in the for the pieces in the background, but I want these to be in focus. Yeah, okay. I'm also going to brighten this up. It's a bit dark, so let's just go here and maybe set this to 2. 1.5. Split the difference. Right, that render's finished, but I just want to make a quick change. I feel like these small pieces are just a bit too small. There's a bit too much of a jump between these big pieces and the small pieces. I've just got this open in the render gallery, by the way. If you don't know how to open that, it's hidden below down here. So you just press this little arrow, that opens that. Press plus, that will take a snapshot of what you got here. Double click on that, and it will open the render gallery pop-up for you. So let's go just back into manual for a moment, stop that render, and then go back into my OBJ, back into phase 2, and then up to this mask by feature. Okay, and I'm just going to take this low value here and set that to 0.1. Okay, so that will make the smaller pieces bigger. Right, so let's visualize that. Set this to auto update. Unfortunately, we got to run through this again. There we go. So that seems like they're a bit bigger. If we visualize this, what we saved earlier. Yeah, much more of a contrast there. So if I just click save now, it will save, what we just did. Okay, and then back into Solaris. Not OBJ, stage. Okay, and then just let that render out there. Okay, got that render there. So just do the same. Come here, press on that plus, double click on that, and that will open the render gallery. Get rid of that. And we can compare between the two like that. That's annoying. Get rid of that. If you do, let me see, you can do this A and B thing as well. Set that to B, and then I think we can, blend between them. So it's not so important here, but you can see the difference. We got, really big pieces and really small pieces in that one, and this one is a bit more balanced, but we can still get a sense of smaller, bigger here, which, it just works much better in my opinion. But yeah, that looks great. So these are actually already saved into your HIP folder. If you go there, you'll find these saved in a gallery folder. You can also just save them there. So, save it as a JPEG or whatever. I probably a JPEG or a TIFF or a PNG, and do play around with it, experiment, try different geometry, different something other than a head. Maybe try and put it on animation. That would be cool as well. So yeah,